You is 15K.
With outside lender. Gotcha.
With an outside lender.
Yeah.
Because we can't, we can't, we don't know what rate you're going to give them.
Right.
But with us, we give them the 4.5 with $12,000.
Do you know how much it would cost for? And obviously it's different because it depends on the buyer's, numbers qualification. But do you know how much it would cost for you guys to get down to 4.5?
I don't know. I just know that we do buy it down. So
Yeah.
that's what we offer. They have to be well qualified though. So it's
Right.
640 and better.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much it costs with us because I've had those cases where, for example, maybe we get less in concessions, but it's still better to go with a broker than it is with an in-house lender as far as for the buyer.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it works that way. It's a lot better.
Yeah, it depends on the market and stuff like that too.
Yeah, it does work. It depends. We're not afraid to use the outside lenders. We're not at all. So like if they get qualified with an outside lender, of course we want them to kind of like do it with us and all that. But I mean, we know that not everything fits accordingly to what it fits. So if they can't get it through us, we'll go with you guys and you get them qualified. We're not asking questions. Hey, you got them qualified. Let's go. We're here to sell homes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, like in my case, my model being a broker, I have 20 lenders. So one lender's gonna be better for one buyer compared to another.
Yeah.
Like car insurance. You go Geico's sometimes better for somebody than Progressive and so forth.
Yeah.
So similar thing. And the buy down costs less. Like I've seen some clients go with lender A, let's just say, same rate, whatever that rate is, costs $5,000. They go with lender B and that costs them nothing. That same rate.
Yeah.
So that money goes longer in those cases.
Yeah. And that's why we give incentives. So like, we usually give like around 15 to like almost 30. We've seen 30. So we play around with that stuff. I mean, we have ways of getting it to what you need. You just tell us what you need for that client, and of course we'll work it out.
Yeah, that's good though, because at least you're like a partner, like you're trying to both work on the deal.
Yeah,
not like somebody else that said, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah. And then the good thing is, like, like if you are doing so many deals and all that stuff, like, it's not just me that will use you. All the other colleagues of mine will probably start reaching out to you and be like, hey, I need help with this and I need help with that. Yeah. Just, like I said, not every client fits that mold.
Right.
So if you're able to get them to somewhere, get them to that finish line. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, that part's easy. It's just the hard part is getting them qualified. The finish line is easy.
Yeah.
Once you get through that, I'm like, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
Like I always tell everybody, once I pre-approve you, hey, we're 99% of the way there. The 1% is, I don't know what inspection is going to happen and appraisal. We can't control that. But what we can control, we're good.
Okay.
So like that way we're not sweating it out during underwriting, all that stuff.
Right.
I've had a couple of deals like that where I'll tell you one. So when I was starting out, I had a guy, he was self-employed. This realtor calls me out of Orlando. He's 3 months working with his lender and they're like, oh, you can't qualify. That same day, she calls me, whatever. I met her through another realtor. He sends me his tax returns that same day. I just send me your tax returns. I'll let you know if you can, if you have a chance or you're screwed. And he makes $12,000 a year. So he's making $1,000 a month after deductions. So I'm like, look at your money. You're making $12,000 a year. So it's $1,000 a month. Who's going to give you a loan for a house if you only make $1,000 a month? He's like, nobody. I'm correct. And I did this in 5 minutes. The guy took 3 months to figure this out.
Yeah.
And there's people like that, so I get it. It's like everything else. There's good and bad LOs, right? It's not really the lenders, us as a loan officer. There's good and bad ones.
Yeah. There's difference. There's difference in work ethic and all that stuff. And I mean, like everybody works differently. They work at their own pace and all that. Yeah. So it's never like I said, it's usually just the loan officer, how they work and all, and just figuring out how they do certain things.
Yeah. Well, I would say I think also comes down to knowledge. Like, right. So like, I'll give you another example. I had this thing 2 or 3 weeks ago. FHA, it's a brother, and so two brothers. They own a house in Tampa. FHA buyer, right? They're trying to buy another one. He can't go conventional. Credit score is too slow, so he has to go FHA. So normally you're like, hey, you can't buy another one because you're within 100 miles.
Yeah.
Right. But there's an exception to that rule, which applies to them. Because they're brothers, not married, they could split off Yeah, as long as one brother stays here and the new one buys the new primary, they could still buy within 100 miles.
Yeah.
But other people would be like, no, you're within 100 miles. You can't do that. Right. So that's like, all right, well, there's a solution to this problem. What's the solution? And eventually that was a solution, right?
Yeah.
Split them up.